Hey everyone! Mario and Luigi Brothership has been out for a few weeks now, and if you're anything like me, there has been one question keeping you up at night the whole time. What is the lowest level possible at which you can complete the game? I've accepted it as my duty to answer this question for all of you. I'll be completing Brothership in minimum level fashion, no matter how difficult or frustrating it becomes. This is a summit challenge for those of us who know that leveling up is a superfluous tactic that should be exploited only by the weak and feeble. The first key to minimizing our level will be to complete only the mandatory battles. After mandatory battle number 1, you'll reunite with Luigi and head to Rumbla Island, where another battle is waiting for you. The second key to minimizing our level will be to always have one bro dead when completing a battle, so that only a single bro collects the experience points. Often, it was this key that would provide the biggest challenge. In this battle, I had to be careful to inflict damage slowly enough so Mario could die before the enemies did. And in no time at all, I reached mandatory battle number 3. Generally, I would choose to kill the bro who was at the higher level, or if their levels were equal, I would kill whoever I did not kill last time. In battle number 4, it was Luigi's turn to win, and this is where I encountered the first level up of the playthrough. And there was one more battle waiting for me before connecting Rumbla Island, and this is where Mario would join Luigi at level 2. So far, I hadn't faced anything difficult, but I knew the difficulty would only increase deeper into the game, as I gradually became more underleveled. Next, I went to Rainforest Island, and here, there were no mandatory battles. I just had to avoid the enemies, and if a battle did start, I just had to flee. Likewise, Twisty had no mandatory battles, and soon enough, I was headed back to Rumbla Island. In mandatory battle number 6, I died a few times trying to counter the rocks thrown by the guard arms. I was starting to notice that I was underleveled, but relatively speaking, things were still easy. This meant that it was Luigi's turn to take the victory over Garumbla. In this boss battle, and even more so in future boss battles, there was no way to bluff your way through. Being underleveled, you need to be able to dodge the boss's attacks consistently, and sometimes for a long time. And the short game was always the hardest part. That is, orchestrating the death of one bro, now having no safety net, and less healing options for the other bro, and having to finish the battle with much weaker attack options. After clearing this battle, Luigi would jump up 3 levels, all the way to level 5, a sure sign that he was underleveled going in. Floral Island also did not have any required battles. I cleared it and headed to the first Great Lighthouse Island. I gave my best gear to Mario since his level was lower and since he'd have to defeat the upcoming boss. I often did not have the best gear for both bros. Coins are at much more of a premium compared to a normal playthrough, since many coins come from winning battles. The key for Goblik, as with all battles, was being able to dodge his moves consistently, and I struggled mightily with this underground tentacle move, perhaps as much as any other move in the whole game. The speed and spacing of this attack is highly variable, making the correct timing difficult to get a grasp on. Outside of this attack, dodges were mostly straightforward, and I needed lots of green and red shells to inflict damage. Due to my low level, it took a long time to inflict enough damage, and it was possible to die in one hit. It took an hour of attempts to get to the short game, where I intentionally let Luigi die. I thought my next hammer attack might kill Goblik, but it just barely didn't, meaning one more turn was needed. After dodging these projectiles, all I had left to do to win the battle was to counter the lasso tentacle move, one that I hadn't mistimed yet in my hour of attempts. And there's the pain of the short game. With one bro dead, your primary safety net is gone, meaning one mistake can send you back to the start of the battle. A couple attempts later, I got back to the short game section, and this time would make no mistakes in sending Goblik packing. This one battle created an avalanche of level ups for Mario, 6 to be exact, taking him from level 3 all the way to level 9. For a rank up bonus, I chose Gear Slot +1. I figured the stat up bonuses wouldn't be as useful with the limited level ups, and obviously, I'd failed the challenge if I chose quick leveling. On Desolate Island, there are no battles until the showdown with 10. After a few attempts, I failed in the short game. With how low 10's health was, I knew a counter might end the battle, but I needed Mario to die first, I ended up having the wrong bro die, and inadvertently won the battle. Several attempts later, I had Mario die while 10 had much more health remaining. It meant I had to successfully dodge attacks for longer, but at least I knew I wouldn't accidentally win the battle too early. One note here is I'm not sure if you gain more experience points from defeating the Snapters. I didn't want to defeat them anyway, as I figured my offense would be better spent entirely on 10, but it's something to keep in mind for future battles. Presumably, due to my lower speed rating, enemies would often have multiple turns to attack before I'd get a turn. This is something I'd get used to. After winning the battle, Luigi would jump up 3 levels to level 8, still one below Mario. On Merry-Go Island, after fleeing several battles, I'd come to mandatory battle number 10 with some Snapters. A couple Spike Leafs would spawn during this battle as well. Not sure if these were avoidable. They probably added to my total experience points, but the amount was small enough that it ultimately didn't affect my level by the end of the game. The battle would lift Luigi up to level 9, now equal to Mario. Battle 11 was right around the corner, this time against some Crows and big Spikeleys. I got near the end of the battle using shell attacks, and then accidentally had Mario die when it was actually his turn to win. I revived him though, so I could allow Luigi to die instead. Turns out, it was all for naught. Next time I get into short game territory, I would pull it off, lifting Mario to level 10. On Lottacoin's Island, I would make some gear upgrades, buying Broswear and Lottacoin's boots for both bros. While freeing Peach from the prison cell, Battle 12 with some Spikezock troopers would get underway. These guys posed little problem, and now Luigi was at level 10 as well. Next up was the boss battle against Mega Snapter, and it was Mario's turn to win. This was another lengthy battle that took several tries to get right. I messed up and had Luigi die on the early side, but I was deep enough into the battle that I chose not to revive him. It took several more rounds of dodges and attacks, but Mario would see this battle through, getting him up to level 12 after earning 2 more level ups. All Sand Island was another that I completed without any mandatory battles, and then I was off to the second Great Lighthouse Island, where I had just enough coins to buy dodgy jumpware for both bros. The boss of this lighthouse is Sharpcast. The single attempt where I beat Sharpcast took over 35 minutes alone. These battles are simply brutal for their long duration. Being underleveled, it takes seemingly forever to whittle down the boss's health, whereas a small number of dodge mistakes can have very serious consequences. Each time Sharpcast would enter its defensive position, it also restores some of its health. Here, it restores 192 health, while I inflict only 3 points of damage before Luigi logic becomes available to end the self-healing phase. The second time this phase popped up, I made the mistake of having both bros consume a syrup jar. But Luigi logic actually doesn't become available unless you attempt to attack Sharpcast. Lesson learned. Sharpcast would heal 288 points of health this time around. I would have to endure 5 of these healing sessions before we finally reach the second phase of the battle. Here, Sharpcast has new and altered attacks, which thankfully, I was able to react to properly despite not having practiced them. Other than that, like most other bosses in their second phases, the speed of its attacks is just a little faster. I finally reached the short game, and after half an hour, I really didn't want to mess this up. It was time for Mario to die, and here I made the rookie mistake of leaving the Auto Mushroom Battle Plug equipped. I'd have to stall here, not wanting to deal too much damage, until Mario finally died. From here, I had to stay razor sharp with my dodges. The self-healing phases were the real pain of this battle. Each one would cause significant negative progress, given Sharpcast would heal about 200 health points, and each bros attack normally inflicts about 45 to 70 points of damage. After what felt like forever, I eventually pulled through. Now half the Great Lighthouses were complete, with Mario at level 12, and Luigi now at level 13. On Bulbfish Island, my favorite island, I'd progress quickly up to mandatory battle number 15. There wasn't much to this one, and at the end, Mario would be joining Luigi at level 13. I'd make a quick detour to Compact Islet to grab the Soft Hammer DX. This is a substantial upgrade and was definitely worth the trouble. Battle 16 was awaiting me on Heat Freeze Island. Nothing fancy here, just some Zapperator and then some dodging. the counters actually killed the final 2 troopers. You might be thinking that I'm leveling up faster than you'd expect for how few battles I'm engaging in. This is mostly due to the exponential nature of the leveling system. Look at this graph of cumulative experience points at each level. Roughly, to increase your level by 20% requires a doubling of points. So, for example, if you're right at level 15 and double your points, this won't even bring you to level 18. This means that avoiding a whole lot of points might only shave off a few levels. There is also an exponential increase in the stats achieved as you level up, although it's not nearly as pronounced. Here, look at Mario's POW stat at each level. This means that, on average, each subsequent level up is more impactful than the last, and so, being at half of the expected level will mean all your battle numbers are actually less than half of what you'd expect. I allowed Mario to succumb to a sequence of ice balls. This left the victory for Luigi, who advanced to level 16. As a second rank up bonus, I chose Defense Up, as defense is at a premium in this challenge. This completed Scorching Island and brought me to Slip and Glide, where I entered battle number 19. The tricky part of this battle is that you need to take out at least the final 4 enemies of each fleet at the same time, otherwise they'll summon more of themselves. This is fine for the Goombas. A well-performed Zapparator, followed by a Bomb Derby, will usually do it. But next is the fleet of Koopas, and since these guys are the end of the battle, Luigi needs to be dead for the final attack. But this takes Bros attacks off the table. So I whittled the field down to 4 remaining Koopas, all close together and low on health, then allowed Luigi to die. After grounding the remaining Koopa, I equipped Kaboom Attack, Surprise Iron Ball, and Dizzifying Attack, then attacked one of the central Koopas. And... one survived. But it was dizzy, meaning it was unable to call for help. I used Floral Island and Slip and Glide to make wedding preparations, as these choices avoided battles. I'd also equip Connie's Mittens for both bros to limit damage taken when I was at low health. It was time to head to the 3rd Great Lighthouse Island, where I would purchase Repelware for both bros, as well as a Whittle Down Hammer and Crowd Control Boots for Mario. Battle number 20 was a straightforward one against some troopers. Luigi did die earlier than I was planning, but I rolled with it, defeating all 4 of the troopers as Mario, mostly just by countering their attacks. This brought Mario to level 15. And this brings us to Pipe Gunk, the boss of the 3rd Great Lighthouse. I was stuck on this boss for an hour and 45 minutes, and similar to Sharp Cask before it, the attempt where I actually succeeded took a mind-boggling half an hour to get through. However, a good chunk of this half hour was spent in the short game zone. Finishing this boss off in the short game was a bit of a nightmare. What I learned early on is that if Luigi's final move is to the magma or ice area, then Pipe Gunk will be able to heal itself faster than Mario can inflict damage, making the battle unwinnable. Instead, with Pipe Gunk at very low health, Luigi must move it back to the normal area. But watch your counters now, because, oh no, you might accidentally kill the thing with Luigi still alive. So, don't have Mario counter, I guess, and hope he stays alive. On my next attempt, things went perfectly, with Luigi dead and Mario alive. But Sean moved Pipe Gunk back to magma without me even having a chance to attack. I revived Luigi, and this battle continued, until I had my second chance moving Pipe Gunk back to the normal area. This time around, Luigi did not die, and sure enough, I was given a chance to attack. So, the battle continued further. More bad RNG though, as once again, Luigi stayed alive, making my turn to attack pointless. So yes, the battle continued on even further, with me even having to revive Luigi once more in the magma area, before we embarked on our 4th chance, moving Pipe Gunk back to the normal area. This time around, things played out perfectly, with Pipe Gunk killing Luigi, and me getting a turn to attack. I equipped Surprise Iron Ball, Fiery Attack, and Attack Boost. Thank goodness it was enough. I took my 3 level ups, and put the memory of Pipe Gunk behind me. Next was Offendon Island with mandatory battle number 21. This one was no problem, and soon I was off to reconnect Heat Freeze Island. Battle 22 proved to be a difficult one. The Spinies are small, but they'll kill you in 2 hits. I struggled immensely in the short game, finding it shockingly difficult to counter the Spinies thrown at me by Lakitu. and missing a single counter adds that spiny to the battle, effectively meaning you need to restart. Since not countering was not an option, I even had an attempt where I won the battle before Mario died. Eventually, I equipped the easy peasy counters plug, and although for most battles, I found that I could refine my timing enough without help, in this particular instance, the plug made a massive difference for me. There were 3 more battles remaining on this island. The Hammer Bros weren't too difficult. For the regular Hammer Bro, you need to mirror whether or not he jumps, whereas for the Fire and Ice variants, you need to make the opposite jumping decision. The next battle didn't provide much resistance either, and brought Luigi up to level 18. The final remaining battle is another showdown with a fleet of Bob-ombs. I healed Mario before this battle, so he could withstand a blast to take out Luigi, then it was a simple matter of dodging the remaining Bob-ombs. With Mario at level 19, I would reconnect Heat Freeze Island and head to Twisty Island for battle number 26. This one was more Bomb Derby, Zapperator, and lots of dodging. This moved Luigi to level 19 as well, and then there was one more battle to tackle on Twisty. It was largely the same, just with some of the big variants of the Sorbor. On my return trip to Offendon Island, I had to battle some Goombas and Koopas for battle 28. One Koopa attack can be countered for a lot of damage, but requires a lot of well-timed button presses. If you mess one up, you'll be taking a bunch of damage. After clearing this battle, I was off to Bowser's Castle on Way Away Island, where I was greeted at the door with another battle. After some Bros attacks, this one was a simple matter of some well-timed counters. It was for the best, I guess. As per my algorithm, it was actually Mario's turn to win the battle. I haven't been showing much of this, mainly to keep this video's length in check, but in between the mandatory battles, there is a ton of enemy avoidance required to stay out of the optional battles. Many times, I'd get sucked into a battle anyway and need to survive an opening round of attacks until I could flee. I didn't realize how weak this Koopa was. I accidentally killed it with my opening attack. I had to restart so I could let Mario die first. Another battle followed right after with stronger Koopas, this time 3 of them, but it also posed minimal challenge. With both bros now at level 20, I confronted Bowser for mandatory battle number 32. This boss battle was no joke. My most hated attack was the side-to-side fire breath. I'm not consistent at landing on the iron balls, as the Shy Guys vary their timing for throwing them. And even with the balls, the fire requires very precise timing to clear, which the side camera angle does not help. It might seem that these boss battles shouldn't be all that difficult, given if one bro drops, you can revive him with a 1-up mushroom. Well, the problem is when both bros drop during the same round of attacks. Remember that due to having a low speed rating, a round of attacks goes on for a long time before your turn comes around. And then to compound things, you also have a low defense rating, meaning you'll often die in 2 hits, and at certain times, even just 1 hit. Bowser's attacks were noticeably more difficult to dodge than many of the previous bosses. Offensively, this battle was all about maximizing single enemy damage, so I alternated Luigi's jump helmet with Mario's red shell attack. The not droppin' plug, which I only just acquired, proved to be a real lifesaver. It saved Luigi once, and then a bit later, saved Mario as well. But with Bowser almost dead, I entered the short game, where I foolishly forgot to unequip the not droppin' plug. So it saved Luigi when I actually wanted him to die. I left not droppin' equipped, knowing it would not save Luigi if he was at 1 health. But I forgot about the HP Bangle, which had brought Luigi up to 6 health. So not droppin' saved him once again. Finally, Luigi went down, and with a single charge remaining, not droppin' saved Mario here, where he would have died in 1 hit, despite being at full health. I was stuck on Bowser for an hour and a half, and the attempt where I succeeded took 25 minutes. Phew. That was surely the hardest Bowser battle in the game, right? I chose Hammerhead for my rank up bonus and moved on to the 4th Great Lighthouse Island. It still bothers me how empty and anticlimactic this lighthouse is. Luigi took the 2 mandatory battles and advanced to level 21, and then we lit up the lighthouse and moved on. Before heading to Fortress Zocket, I did repeatedly engage in some easy battles, taking a couple turns then fleeing, just to recharge my plugs. At Fortress Zocket, I'd acquire full bellywear for both bros, and in no time flat, I was having a rematch with Bowser. Every good challenge, in video games or elsewhere, hits a point where things start to become a bit miserable. The self-doubt starts to creep in, and you question if you're even capable of what you're trying to do. As you continue to fail, the self-talk turns even more negative, and you start to wonder why you're even bothering with whatever challenge it is that you've taken on. The second battle with Bowser was the pinnacle of the challenge for me. Yes, the battle was long, requiring about 35 minutes of high-precision counters and solid decision-making. Yes, Bowser's moves were difficult to dodge. Yes, my low speed rating forced me to endure several rounds of attacks between each of my turns. And yes, my low defense rating meant that I was usually only a couple hits away from disaster. But the primary reason this battle is miserable is in each of its 3 phases, there is a pool of gloam that spreads from Bowser. The battle was designed so that you can typically complete each of Bowser's phases before the gloam reaches you. But when you're severely under-leveled, this is no longer the case in the 3rd phase. It is critical to do maximum damage your second time with the cannon to minimize the length of the 3rd phase. Equip Anti-Army Specialist and aim to inflict at least 1100 points of damage. Typically, the gloam will take you from full health to dead in 2 turns. This makes it critical to have some auto mushroom charges left to have a hope to survive. All of Bowser's moves become more difficult to dodge in the final phase, but perhaps the most irritating is this pink stream that you need to jump over what feels like a countless number of times. Each jump needs to be very precise to avoid damage both on the way up and down. With Luigi hurting more than Mario, for some reason, the game decided to use my last auto mushroom charge on Mario. I made the decision to attack with Luigi, knowing the gloam would almost certainly kill him before his next turn came around, but equipping the auto 1-up plug to get him back. After dodging the pink stream without taking any damage, I saw that I had officially reached the short game. Bowser's health was low, but so were Mario's and Luigi's. I decided to have Luigi heal himself, as it was his turn to win the battle. And, fortunately for me, Mario got a turn to attack before he died. I did a standard jump attack because I didn't want to risk killing Bowser with a Bros attack. I allowed Mario to die, which combined with no remaining auto mushroom and gloam underfoot meant my margin for error was extremely small. Note how I dodge all of Bowser's attacks successfully, but by the time my turn comes around, the gloam has brought me from my full health points of 103 down to just 47 remaining. Look at Bowser's remaining health. Can I inflict that much damage with one attack? I honestly wasn't sure, but I decided I had to try. Even with not dropping equipped, I wasn't sure that I was going to get another turn in this battle, so I equipped all my offense boosting plugs, attack boost, anti-flying specialist, and surprise iron ball, and I went for it. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. It'll really help the channel out. It took over 4 hours of trying, but Gloam Bowser was no more. How would the remaining bosses compare? Let's find out. On Conductor Island, I purchased Astonishing Wear for both bros, as well as an Astonishing Hammer for Mario, and Astonishing Boots for Luigi. The Great Conductor battle wasn't really different than on a normal playthrough, but it is the first battle where you were forced to keep both bros alive, meaning both Mario and Luigi would collect the experience points here. Jellyfish Island doesn't even have any enemies, let alone required battles, so after connecting it, I returned to Way Away Island, where I collected part of Bowser's airship, again without any required battles. It was time to return to Fortress Zocket, where I would buy supersonic boots for Mario and a steel hammer for Luigi. There are a lot of enemies here, meaning a lot of evasion and fleeing battles are required. But the next mandatory battle, number 37, would be against the Extension Core. I wouldn't call this battle easy by any means, but it did feel like a substantial step down from Gloam Bowser. It also helped that my ever-expanding set of plugs was giving me more and more advantages I could lean on. For example, I would make a habit of pre-warming Countdown to Crush and Countdown to Cure, so I could use them instantly in battle. The tricky part is the short game, since you cannot see the health of this boss. My inexperience showed here, as I had both bros at full health when the Extension Core used their invincibility plug. My plan was to use Protectus to guard Mario against the final explosion, but with Luigi still alive, that wasn't an option. I got one hit on Luigi before the explosion started, and, really just by sheer luck, the explosion was enough to kill Luigi, but just barely not enough to kill Mario, with guarding for the final 2 waves. Mario shot up 3 levels to 27. I took some time to recharge and rewarm my plugs, and then it was time to confront Zocket. This battle was definitely a step back up in difficulty from the extension core. In particular, your health can go down fast when you're failing on your dodges. But at the same time, most of Zocket's attacks are pretty reasonable to dodge with some practice. Offensively, it was a mixture of Mario's clock-out blow and Luigi's jump helmet, both of which work splendidly for inflicting damage to a single target. As I reached the short game, I allowed Mario to die and swiftly proceeded to nearly blow it, with Luigi losing all but 6 health in one attack and becoming gloamed. But Auto Ant Berry would save the day. I'd equip Protectus as well as Auto Mushroom and proceed with my attack. Protectus did bail me out on Zocket's following round of attacks, and Auto Mushroom would further increase my breathing room. Turns out, I would actually defeat Zocket off of a counter, and now, I was really sensing the end of the challenge. Mario was at level 27, Luigi was at level 28, and all I had left to do was collect some bonds and head to the Solid Tree. Mandatory battle number 39 came when rescuing Peach, and then number 40 would come when rescuing the Idol crew. After claiming both of these victories, Mario joined Luigi at level 28. The tedious collecting of bonds continued, with mandatory battle number 41 coming against Gloam Garumbla. At this point in the challenge, he wasn't overly difficult, and after Luigi moved to level 29, I chose the no-brainer Iron Body rank-up bonus. I completed one more battle to rescue Bowser Jr., then finished collecting the bonds and headed off to the Solid Tree. After tons of enemy evasion, I would reach battle number 43. The idea in this battle is to let all but one of the Seed Lusas run away. The remaining one will sprout into quite a formidable enemy. All you need to do though is survive. The Seed Lusa will self-destruct before you have a chance to kill it. Use Protectus here though. I was failing to survive without it. The best part is, since you didn't kill anything, you don't get any experience points. And right after, it's battle number 44. I did kill 2 Seed Lusas in this battle, which probably did net me some unnecessary experience points. But I had line of sight to the end of the game, and I knew that this wouldn't cause me any extra level ups. This battle would bring Mario to level 29, and earn him an Iron Body, just in time to battle Reclusa. Here, I tried killing one of the bros, but due to the unique nature of the battle, the fallen bro would always hop back up afterwards to chase Reclusa. There was simply no way to win this battle solo, so it was the second time in the challenge where both bros had to claim the experience points. This would bring Mario to level 31 with 103,924 experience points, within 1,000 points of level 32. Luigi, meanwhile, would hit level 32 with 113,642 experience points, within 5,000 points of level 33. All that was left was the true final battle with Reclusa, a battle that is spread out across 3 full phases. I did pull this off on my first try, but it took a ridiculously long hour and 10 minutes. One mistake I made was using my best bros attacks multiple times during the Weeping Core phase. This let the core fully analyze the attacks, meaning Reclusa was able to guard them in the final phase. The Weeping Core phase is so much easier than Reclusa that I would have happily used weaker attacks to finish it off, to keep my best attacks at their full potency for Reclusa. The Reclusa phase wasn't pretty. I had very little practice with most of the attacks, so I ended up making full use of Not Droppin', Protectus, and Charge Bank while I figured it out. It was just barely enough to get me through. So to answer the original question, the minimum levels required to beat the game are 31 for one bro and 32 for the other bro, if you distribute the experience points just right across the 45 battles. By comparison, on my initial playthrough, I achieved level 48 for both bros. This might not sound like a big difference, but as you can see on this graph, it amounts to about an 80% reduction in experience points obtained. Come to think of it, fewer level ups could be obtained by killing the same bro, Luigi, for every single battle, and letting Mario hog all the points. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd be interested in a useless Luigi challenge. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.